In the quiet, forgotten outskirts of Atlanta, Georgia, a mansion sat, hidden deep within the woods. This was no ordinary house. It was a place shrouded in mystery, its dark history whispered among the locals. Known only to a few as the Whispering House, the mansion stood as a grim reminder of a life once full of luxury, but now left to rot in the passing of time. The mansion, built in 1987, had once been a crown jewel in the suburban landscape. Its sprawling grounds and extravagant design made it the envy of anyone who laid eyes upon it. Towering over its surroundings, the mansion was a symbol of success, wealth, power, and fame. Over the years, it had passed through several owners, each one drawn by its magnificence and potential. Yet as time wore on, the house began to take on a different life, one filled with tragedy, mystery, and unexplainable events. In 2003, the mansion caught the eye of hip-hop mogul Sha Diddy. The purchase was meant to be a new beginning, a symbol of his rising status in the world. The mansion was massive, a sprawling estate of over 20,000 square feet, complete with luxurious features like a home theater, a massive wine cellar, 8 bedrooms, and 16 bathrooms. Outside, the grounds boasted a 5-car garage, a saltwater pool, and even a tennis court. It seemed as though Diddy had found his dream home, a perfect fit for his life of excess and opulence. But something was wrong. Shortly after moving in, strange things began to happen. Whispers filled the empty halls. Flickering lights came to life without explanation, and a sense of unease lingered in the air. It was as if the house was alive, watching, waiting for something or someone. Those who knew of the mansion's past couldn't shake the feeling that something darker lurked within its walls. The rumors surrounding the house were chilling. Some claimed that the mansion was haunted by the spirit of Biggie Smalls, Diddy's friend and fellow rapper, who had been tragically murdered in 1997. Others spoke of eerie figures seen standing in the windows late at night, watching from afar. There were whispers of violent deaths, betrayal, and mysterious disappearances, all tied to the mansion's strange past. Diddy, once known for his extravagance and larger-than-life persona, seemed to change after moving into the mansion. His behavior became erratic, and his love for the mansion quickly turned to fear. Allegedly, he had a terrifying encounter with a ghostly figure in the grand foyer of the mansion. Those who claimed to have seen Diddy afterward spoke of a man who had been deeply shaken. A man who no longer wanted anything to do with the mansion he had once called home. Soon after, in 2007, Diddy made the decision to sell the mansion. But it wasn't a typical real estate transaction. He sold the mansion at a massive loss, just $1.3 million, nearly half of what he had paid for it. The sale was said to have been a result of financial difficulties, but others whispered it was due to something far more sinister, a growing sense of dread that had taken hold of the mansion. And so, the mansion was abandoned once again, left to the ravages of time. Its opulence faded away, and nature began to reclaim it. The windows were boarded up, the gardens overgrown, and the once pristine pool turned into a murky, lifeless hole. The mansion, once a symbol of wealth and power, now stood as a silent witness to the passage of time. Yet the mansion's story wasn't over, not by a long shot. Years later, a curious adventurer, brave enough to explore the mansion, decided to venture inside. As he made his way through the woods to the mansion, he felt a sense of foreboding. The thick trees that surrounded the property seemed to close in around him, the air heavy with an unnatural stillness. The mansion loomed ahead, its dark silhouette against the twilight sky. He knew the stories, the rumors, the warnings, but he pressed on, eager to uncover the truth. behind the whispering house. Arriving at the back of the mansion, he was struck by how the place had been left to decay. The once grand exterior was now covered in vines, its features crumbling under the weight of time. Yet, there was something unsettling about it. The power was still on, the lights flickering inside, as though the house was still alive, waiting for something. The adventurer took a deep breath and made his way to the entrance. As he stepped inside, the smell of mildew and dampness hit him. The walls were peeling, the floors creaking underfoot, but it was the silence that felt the most oppressive. It was as though the house was holding its breath, waiting for him to uncover the secrets hidden within. He ventured deeper, flashlight in hand, the beam cutting through the thick darkness of the abandoned halls. The basement was the first place he explored. The stairs creaked as he descended, the air growing colder with each step. It smelled musty, as if the very foundation of the house was rotting away. But the most chilling discovery was a security alarm panel, still blinking red, as though the house was on guard. The adventurer couldn't shake the feeling that someone or something was watching him. He turned to leave, but the feeling of being followed only intensified. Upstairs, he discovered a living area that was both magnificent and haunting in its disrepair. The grand chandelier still hung from the ceiling, its crystals shimmering faintly in the flickering light. The two grand staircases that led up to the higher floors were beautiful, but their elegance only added to the sense of foreboding that hung in the air. The furniture was still intact, though covered in dust, and the rooms, though incomplete, still held echoes of the past, of the lives that once filled these spaces. One room stood out among the others, a bedroom that seemed to call to him. It was large, luxurious, with a grand fireplace and a balcony that overlooked the vast grounds below. It was here, in this room, that the adventurer felt the presence of something more than just the past. It was as if the mansion itself was alive, its spirit still lingering, waiting to reveal its final secret. As he explored further, he discovered strange things. Furniture left in place, appliances still running, a sink with water running, as though the mansion was still awaiting its occupants. Yet there was no one there. It was all a twisted illusion, a memory of the past, a dream that refused to die. He made his way up to the attic, where a strange, unsettling atmosphere clung to the air. The attic was unlike any he had seen before. It looked more like a stage, as though the house was ready to perform its final act, and he was the audience. The walls seemed to close in around him, and he couldn't shake the feeling that he wasn't alone. Something was watching him, waiting. The mansion had once been a symbol of wealth and power, but now it was a forgotten relic. Its walls held the echoes of laughter, music, and parties that had once filled its halls, but now all that remained was the haunting memory of what had been lost. As he stood in the empty mansion, the adventurer realized the truth. The mansion wasn't abandoned. It had been forsaken. It was as if it had been left to rot, waiting for someone to finally uncover the truth behind its dark, haunted past. And so, as dawn broke over the desolate mansion, the adventurer made his way to the front door, glancing back at the house one final time. The mansion, its beauty now faded, seemed to sigh in the morning light. It was a place of lost dreams, a monument to the past, and a reminder that even the grandest structures are nothing more than temporary in the face of time. As he stepped away, the mansion stood behind him, its mysteries left untold. Would anyone else dare to uncover its secrets? Or would it remain forgotten, a ghost of a bygone era, forever lost in the woods of Atlanta? Only time would tell.